Well, hello, and welcome to this English lesson. If you noticed, I didn't put an English lesson out last week, and if you want to know the reason, and it's a good reason, you should watch the beginning of the live stream from last Friday where I explain why I wasn't able to make a lesson. Now, you might wonder, why don't you just do something simple when you don't have time or you're not able to make a lesson? Well, in this English lesson, I'm going to teach you 4 words that I would use to describe making an English lesson that isn't good. The first word would be stopgap. I don't want to make a lesson that is a stopgap. A stopgap is something temporary and not ideal, but workable. So on a Monday, on a week where I don't have a lot of time or energy, I could just create a stopgap lesson, a real quick lesson that I film where you don't actually learn a lot of things. But I don't like to do that. I like my lessons to be very meaningful and very useful to all of you. Now, I could just make something that's makeshift. When something is makeshift, it's again something temporary and not ideal, but workable. Pretty much the same as a stopgap solution. If I just do a makeshift lesson, that would be a very quick and easy lesson where maybe you only learn about 3 or 4 words. And I don't think that would be of high quality, and I don't think it would be very useful to you. So I try to avoid making makeshift lessons or something that is a stopgap. Now, I could do a lesson that has low quality that would be called a placeholder. A placeholder is something used temporarily until the real thing is ready. So I could make a really simple lesson where maybe I just walk down my driveway and teach you 4 different words and phrases. But I would certainly call that a placeholder. It's not an overly useful thing, but at least it would come out on a Tuesday and everyone would be happy that I made a new lesson for that week. But I try to avoid making lessons that I would call placeholders. Now, I could do something that you just call filler. I could just record for about 3 or 4 minutes and talk about my life and not really teach anything of any importance. And we would call that filler, something added to fill space or time without adding much value. So I tend to avoid those types of lessons, but you could argue that maybe I'm making a lesson like that right now. Maybe this lesson isn't actually teaching you a whole lot. You might say this is a stopgap. You might say this is a makeshift lesson or just a placeholder. Or did you see Bob's lesson from this week? It was really just filler. It wasn't really a great English lesson. But again, if you go and watch the introduction, I'll try to link it to the exact point in the live stream. You'll see why I may be not feeling super energetic. I am feeling a lot better than I was a week ago or 2 weeks ago. But I did think, you know what? I should just go out and make some sort of lesson. Maybe it's a stopgap. Maybe it's a makeshift lesson. Maybe it's just a placeholder, or maybe it just feels like a little bit of filler. But at least you know I'm doing okay, and I'm still making English lessons here on YouTube. By the way, if you need to know, I was in the hospital a couple of weeks ago, but I'm home now and I'm feeling a lot better. That's the short version of the story. If you want more details, again, link in the description below or follow up here. There's probably a link somewhere. Anyways, I really appreciate all of you. I love it that you watch my videos. Even when I am not feeling well, the views keep rolling in, and it really helps me stay energetic and enthusiastic and excited to make English lessons for you. Have a good week. I'll see you Friday with another live stream, and I'll see you next week Tuesday with another English lesson. And I promise it won't be a stopgap, it won't be makeshift, it won't be a placeholder, and it won't be filler.